Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss a specific Medium article written from the Netflix technology blog. Before I get into discussing this article, I want to stress the importance of signing up for engineering tech blogs. You have to do this if you want to get better with your system design. Now think about it like this. If you're spending 4 months on your lead code preparation, let's say you take the habit of reading an article on an engineering tech blog every other day. So that means 4 divided by 2, you spend 2 months on system design material. That's new system design material that you are reading and absorbing into your head. You could even implement it at work if you are actively working as well. So there is a lot of benefit in getting into the habit of reading an article every other day or so. That being said, let's get into discussing this article. Does Netflix have visibility on its video titles? The link to the article is in the description down below. Now, why would Netflix want to basically ensure if all videos are discoverable? Well, they want to optimize the amount of time users spend on Netflix, which is good for their bottom line. Take a look at this scenario. These are 2 different home screens that a user would see depending on their interests. This is a challenge, as in the video titles that are being displayed are in a variable state, right? Like there's no set titles that get displayed. Some of the questions: why is title X not coming up on the coming soon row for a particular member? Why is title Y missing from the search page in a region like Brazil? Is title Z being displayed correctly in all product experiences as intended? So these are common questions that a PM of Netflix or so would have when they are trying to make sure every video has discoverability. The option 1 that the article talks about is log processing, and this is a very simple idea. So take a look at the Netflix client here to the left, and we have 2 services: the home recommendation service and the video description service. There are many other services here, but we're only going to look at these 2 in this time. The client would make a get home recommendations request, and the recommendation service is going to respond with a list of videos to show to the client. So when it does that, it's basically gonna take in all the logs of everything that's happening, put it in their in-memory buffer, and eventually flush it to a remote log service within Netflix, which may be connected to, I don't know, Stackdriver if we're talking about GCP, or CloudFront if we're doing AWS. And similar to the video description service, it's also going to do the same thing. And that's what the article proposes as option 1. So there are cons to this approach. One is you're not able to respond or catch issues in real time if you're going to just rely on log processing. So it's going to take a while for the logs to flush to the log service. The second one is there's a risk of exponentially logging in data. So if you want to figure out the context of your logs, you're going to start asking the home recommendation service to add more context, which means add more logging. This is going to drastically increase storage if we keep doing that. The third is applying tracing on the video title to the logs throughout all services. Good luck. Observability endpoints. So this is the superior option that the article talks about. And essentially what they're saying is, have an observability sidecar. If this was like Kubernetes, you're deploying your home recommendation service, the video description service, and along with them, you are going to deploy a sidecar container, the observability sidecar container. And in the background, it's basically going to act independently from the main service. It's going to collect telemetry data here. This is metrics, log, and tracing, and it's going to send them to the observability service on the background. And the other part of observability endpoints is to have each of these service expose an endpoint for the observability service to be able to hit. and you can customize the kind of data each of these service returns back to the observability service. This is really good because we've got real-time monitoring and we can apply alerting to it. So if anything wrong happens, immediately the on-calls should be aware of the alerts going off. Proactive issue detection here is actually interesting. So Netflix specifically talks about time travel. So they flood their services with immense load, and they try to make sure that your services operate well under stress. They make sure you're able to get the appropriate telemetry data as well. And enhanced accuracy, if every service hosts their own observability endpoint. For example, the observability service folks can ask the description service, hey, I want to know how long it took for a user to hover over the description of a video. They can be more accurate with their logging. And scalability and cost effective, because I'm assuming Netflix has some sort of service mesh, and the service mesh can enforce deployments of observability sidecars and control their versioning as well. The cons is the initial investment in sidecar deployment. You still have to talk to each team. You still have to talk to them and tell them to include sidecar in their deployments. And there is a synchronization risk as a service evolves. Maybe we are collecting stale data. Who knows? We have to be careful and make sure we query the appropriate data. So that's all. Just get into the habit of reading papers maybe 3 times a week, every other day. Come up with a schedule that's comfortable for you, and I hope you enjoyed this video.